Hello and welcome back to the Residual Royalty Academy. This is a channel where I show you how to go from nothing to at least $1,000 per month. And in this video, my throat is a little bit dry, so apologies if I am sounding a little bit crazy. But in this video, it's going to be a really cool one because I'm going to tell you what the 4 steps are of financial independence with publishing, what each step allows you to do with your life, what kind of lifestyle it allows. And I'm also going to give you some ideas that will allow you to go between one step to the next. And I'm also going to explain why this whole thing is a bit like riding a bike. So let's get into it. And apologies if I have a bit of a dry throat. I'm going to take a drink right now. So the first step is the range between $0 to $1,000 per month. So at this step, this allows you to pay off some bills, and your royalties may even allow you to cover some expenses such as your rental payments, your mortgage, or your car payments. Obviously, that is country dependent. But I can give you an example from my own life. So early last year, my rent was only like £330. I was only paying for a room in like a small student city. But either way, I was pretty happy there. It was a pretty good life. And yeah, I was pretty stoked that like even $1,000 per month in royalties could pay for literally my entire lifestyle. And I felt like I was living pretty good, right? So that money was paying for my room. It was paying for my food. It was paying for my car. I mean, I already owned the car in cash, but it was paying for the petrol, for the insurance, and these kind of things. Now, obviously, if you're in a different country, maybe you live in like San Francisco, where everyone's kind of defecating or whatever the word is on the floor, or maybe you live in New York or LA. Now, obviously, this isn't going to apply to you because the rental payments or the mortgage or whatever, the costs for these things are going to be way higher. But also the same applies on the other end of the scale. So maybe if you live in another country where the cost of living is really low, then maybe you could even live off like $500 per month. So this really depends on where you live and what kind of lifestyle you hold. But if you live below your means, then for a lot of people in the world, $1,000 per month is absolutely enough to live a pretty nice life. Now, you're probably not going to be going in 5-star resorts every weekend, but that's really not the goal for most people. But yeah, so how do you go from this stage to the next stage? So keep doing exactly what you were doing. It took you from 0 to wherever in this range you are. Invest in courses, hint, the royalty accelerator course. Invest in yourself, watch free YouTube videos, stay consistent. And within time, you'll get to the next step. And I absolutely do not doubt that. So what is the next step? So step 2 is when your royalties or your profit royalties are between $1,000 to $5,000 per month. Now, this is where things are getting really exciting because this is where your income can be replaced for most people. Now, some people, maybe their income is a little bit higher, but if you're a young person, which I think most people watching this channel is, odds are your income isn't above this. And if it is, you maybe wouldn't be watching this video because you'd be focused doing your career or whatever that might be, and not on entrepreneurship, which is what this channel is all about. So this is where you kind of start to realize how big the opportunity really is if you start to take this seriously. But what are the actions you need to take from during this step, during this range, to go to the next step? So this is where you want to be hiring VAs, and I do show you how to do that. I have multiple videos in the Royalty Accelerator about that. This is where you want to be building out your pen names, creating follow-up books, just kind of doing what you were doing before, but kind of maybe thinking about outsourcing some of it. So maybe you're starting to pay for things on Fiverr like cover design or 99 designs or things like that, just to take some things off your hands that's going to allow you to increase your work rate. Now, I would attribute hiring my first VA back in like April or May, to a lot of my success that I've had in this year's royalties so far. So hiring a VA for like $400 per month really just allows you to publish more books and test more ideas and just keep entering new niches. And before we move on to the next step, I just want to really hire this thing home about VAs. So my best-selling book was actually created by my VA. So I was paying the VA $400 per month, and this book this month has made, I think, almost like $4,000. So that has paid for it. That VA has paid for herself like more than tenfold during the time that I had the VA. Unfortunately, she did leave, and I do need to hire another one who is as good as she was. I think I got really lucky with that first one. She was really, really skilled. And on this level, you also want to be connecting with people, through Facebook, through wherever it may be, through forums on this level and above you, so they can push you forwards and they can drag you up to the next level with them. So that's also really important, networking. And now my voice is going again, so I'm going to take another drink. So step 3, $5,000 to $10,000 a month. I was just going to say this is where things get really, really, really exciting, and they do without doubt. But I would actually say you get the most thrill out of it when you go from 0 to 1,000, because that's like when you like, whoa, you just kind of like thinking about the possibilities and the potential of, what you can do. So while this is exciting and above 10,000 a month is exciting, I still think that going from 0 to 1,000 is kind of the best part of the whole thing. Now that's not to dissuade you going to these next steps, but yeah, at step 3, this is where you're really starting to hit financial freedom. Maybe you can send a little bit of money to your family each month to help them. You probably don't need a job at this point. You're working on your own agenda, as Anton Creel would say, and you're definitely able to travel the world at times if you choose so. Now, maybe even still here, you're not able to live in a 5-star resort all year round, but you can definitely spend some time in some amazing places like Italy, Europe, Thailand, Bali, these cool places that, can have quite a cheap cost of living, but are definitely going to make your life really, really cool, really amazing. So this gives you a great lifestyle once you're at this level of royalties. So what are the actions to go to the next and final step? So this is where you have some good niches, you have some really strong books, and you want to start to build out lead magnets and brands so that you don't have to rely on the Amazon ads quite so much. So you can get recurring customers who just keep coming back and buying more and more of your books. So at this point, you can also reinvest some of these cash monies into high content books. You can invest money into translating books into other languages. And I also know people at this level and above who have hired an ads manager. You just simply send them the code from your Amazon ads dashboard, and that's going to free up a lot of your time, and maybe even they can get your ACOS down if they're going to be spending more time on it. And doing those things and doing more of these things and just keeping going, that is going to get you to where you're at over $10,000 per month. So just like I did last month, I know it's Q4, but yeah, we carry on and we continue to shoot for these big numbers. So this is really where things are getting into the wealth step. So this is where you can definitely have potential to sell your business if you've got it set up in the right way, like as a business account and as all these things that you might need to sell it. This is where you can actually sell it for like an exit or a multiple of like 30 times the monthly income, or 35 times, because that's kind of the general multiplier for an online business like this. So let's say your profit is $10,000 a month. You could actually potentially sell your KDP business for a huge amount, like $300,000. And this is going to allow you to make huge investments like real estate, stocks, and seriously, like true wealth can be built from this position. Now, it's not to say that you can't sell your business at $1,000 per month, because you definitely can, but let's say that would only be like $30,000, which obviously doesn't seem quite as much as $300,000. And so what are the actions to go to the next step? Well, there really isn't a next step, because it kind of just goes on infinitely until you die, really. So 100K, $1 million a month, these things kind of never really end, and there's always going to be someone at the next level. But I guess it's just about chasing potential and just keeping going up and up. So comment below which step you're at and how you plan to go to the next level. And before my throat completely gives out on me, I'm just going to explain why it's like riding a bike. So there's a bike for you. So why is it like riding a bike? And I think it is because as you go from 0 to maybe $1,000 a month, then once you're at that stage, you realize it was kind of quite easy, and you know that you could really do it again if you had to start again from 0. So that's why I say it's like riding a bike, because once you learn how to ride a bike, you don't think about the bike anymore. You just kind of do it on automatic, on autopilot. And when you get to 10,000 a month, that goal that seems so crazy, you just kind of do it, and then you're like, oh, well, that was fine. So then the next time, let's say you have to start from 0, the goal wouldn't seem so crazy anymore. And that's why I say it's like riding a bike. So like I say, comment below which step you're at and how you plan to go to the next level. And make sure you subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time you tune in to another daily upload that we are doing in this 12-day series. So Merry Christmas, and I'll see you tomorrow.